Hey, this is Max Gannon from Gannon Associates, and today we're going to talk about independent agencies, our own agency and how we've grown, and some things that go on here at Gannon Associates. An independent agent is an insurance agent who's licensed, who represents multiple companies out there. So that agent will decide what companies in the marketplace they want to represent, and then you, the customer, when you work with them, they'll be able to take a look at what you're insuring, whether it be your home, your auto, or your business, and they can take a look at different companies and look at the products they provide and the pricing they provide to find the best fit for you. So you've heard of companies like Progressive, Travelers, Allstate, Nationwide. An independent agency will give you an avenue to work with all of them at one time. Instead of just taking a look at one company, they'll take a look at your home and your auto or your business and study multiple companies, looking at different coverages and try to find the best fit from a price and product standpoint for you. A lot of good things can happen when an insurance agent and a customer have a relationship and just have a conversation. There's a lot of things to insure and everyone's different. So when the customer opens up to the agent and the agent asks the right questions, they learn a lot about each other, and in doing that, the process will lead to probably a better solution for that customer to protect them against the risks they face. Like I said, it's all about what goes on with each individual risk, whether it be someone who has a swimming pool or someone that collects things, people that travel. Everyone's different, and every company has different coverages that will match up to different people's lifestyles. So the more that we have conversations with our customers, the more we learn and the better we can do protecting them against the risks they face. So we started actually as a captive. My father sold insurance for a small mutual company in Wyalusing, Pennsylvania. Worked right for the company and went out and sold product for them. And that company merged together and became Tuscarora Wayne. And when they did that, the board of directors decided that they wanted to sell their product through independent agencies. So they asked their sales force if they'd like to go out and start their own agencies. And out of that was born Gannon Associates. Also, Iddings was born out of that. Bloom down in Tunkhannock. A lot of small independent agency shops were born with that merger of Tuscarora and Wayne in Wyalusing, Pennsylvania. So in a decision to become an independent agency, we went from selling one product through Tuscarora Wayne Mutual to opening up an office and having to go out and contract with other companies. As an independent, we were able to partner with other companies, not just one, and that was what made us an independent agent rather than a captive. We live in a small town, so I don't think being community-minded was anything that was a strategy. It just was who we were and who my father was and who we've become as an agency. We're involved heavily in United Way. We have been from the beginning of that organization. We were involved in it when the Valley United Way merged with the Central Bradford United Way. They just do a lot of good for a lot of organizations in our area, so it's just a natural fit. And we still have people on the board there at the United Way. Second to that, I would say our local high schools. We do a lot with the local high schools and sponsorship of not just sports, but academic things and arts. So we do a lot with the high schools in the area. We support our hospitals. We get involved in a lot with our local municipalities and fire companies. And then from there, fun things like the fireworks at Sayre, as well as down at Riverfest in Towanda, are two things we're really involved in. We work with universities from Mansfield to Shippensburg, a lot of events around Christmas time and giving to families, as well as youth sports. The list goes on, and we have referees that work here, Little League coaches, people involved in their churches. Really, you could probably find somebody involved in almost anything in the community here with our staff. One of the unique things that we have here at the agency is that we've started here in Bradford County, Pennsylvania, and we've expanded our footprint here up into Oneida and Elmira and down into Shippensburg. But much of those areas are the same smaller areas like we have here. And in that, we did a lot in agriculture, working with local dairy farmers, which expanded us to work with other dairy co-ops, and we found ourselves working with Dairy Farmers of America, which is one of the largest co-ops in the country, and that's really taken that agricultural niche out across the country. And as we work with the dairy co-op and those larger farms, we learn a lot. In addition to that, we've joined a group called Marshberry Connect, which connects us to 28 other independent agents across the country to share in keeping our eye on technology and markets and programs. What we want to do is we want to be able to offer the best products that you could get anywhere in the country right here in the towns that we represent in Pennsylvania, New York State, and beyond. So we feel that we can offer great local service but have a reach that brings different programs and different services to the table that maybe you wouldn't find in a typical independent agency because of our affiliation with the agricultural community and the Connect platform. Why did anybody go into insurance? I don't think insurance is something that a lot of people plan to go into. It wasn't certainly anything that I studied or thought about for much of my youth, though I did spend a lot of time mowing lawns and cleaning office buildings and being around the insurance agency. I never really worked in it too much. Dabbled in college, I guess doing some inspections for the staff and the agents here. But I guess at some point I realized the business that my father built, I'd spent a lot of time working with his partner Tom Abel as well, and really liked being around both of them, and felt as if it was something that would be worth giving a shot just to see if it was anything that I liked. It was a good introductory into it. I started basically working for the personal lines group and just doing work for them. An office position opened up in the Wyalusing office that allowed me to go down there and get involved in the community and work in an office, which gave me the ability to do everything from sales to service to the daily banking and filing. So it just ended up building from there, and then I stayed in it, and I've enjoyed it. It's a great business where you get to know people, you get to know businesses and what they do. It's a great way to be a part of your community, and that's how I ended up in insurance. Well, in the age of competing with direct writers and 1-800 and online, which are all available to people, I think there's something unique to be able to have someone that lives in the same community in the same area as you work with you on your insurance. And I think that really shows up when something happens where you need to call on that policy in a claim situation, or you run into something that didn't quite go as it should. It's a little easier when somebody's right here working with you hand in hand. And we have great employees that many of them, like me, did not come into this insurance business knowing insurance. They kind of grew up in it. They learned it, and then to stay here and continue to do it and do it with the passion they had to find enjoyment in it, and that makes a difference. So I guess I can ask sometimes, customer service isn't easy, and people are calling all the time, and sometimes things are good, sometimes things are bad. So, and what keeps someone going in that? And actually, it's the helping. I think when you get through and you help somebody, you get some accomplishment out of that, and that makes you feel good. So that leads to our employees having passion for what they do, a real care for what they provide, and they live here in the town. They get involved with things in the community, which leads to them a lot of times being side by side with the customers they serve, and I think that makes for a good group here, ready to help people out when they call. So we're a full service agency, and what does that mean? And I guess if I took you through maybe the fictional customer, someone who bought a car when they were 17 and bought an auto policy, and then one day a house. We insured their home and their auto, and then they met a girl and they end up getting married and having a baby, and they needed life insurance. And one day they started their own business, and they were selling furniture out of a store downtown in one of the towns we serve, and we had to talk to them about business insurance, and they had success, and they hired some employees, and they needed a benefits package, and we sent in a benefits person to work with them to get things going, which leads to more success, and they need to look at a retirement plan for their employees and more benefits, right up to when they're looking to retire and they become Medicare age. They need to sit down and talk about Medicare insurance and everything they need to be in place to pass that business on to their children who are now grown. It's a full service agency that can help you with every aspect. And we don't just do the insurance, but we have folks here that work on risk management and loss control to help prevent things and put policies in place so you're safer as a business. And we couple that all with service that starts with a phone call that gets answered by a person, and we're here to help. Once the day ends, that flicks to a 24-hour service number, and if something bad happens in the night, there's a group of us that are on call, and you call that service and they'll get one of us in touch with you to try to help you out. So that's us as a full service agency. Well, it's interesting because when a business starts, and we can think back, it wasn't that long ago that this was an owner and 3 employees that was running an insurance agency in Towanda, Pennsylvania. And when you're that size, everybody in the organization understands what's going on. They know when we added a new customer, we know if we lost a customer. They know everything that the agency's involved in. And as the agency's grown over the years, and we have multiple offices and more of us, that communication and that connection becomes more difficult. But we kind of cling to the spirit of the startup days, and we want everyone to know what's going on. So we work hard on our structure to have people in charge in each specific area, and working with the staff there to communicate and keep everybody up on good things that happen, bad things that happen, and exciting things that happen. So I think we're connected to our beginnings, and we use that simple time to try to keep things going with that same spirit as we move forward. And that's it for today. My name is Max Gannon, Gannon Associates. If you need anything out there in the insurance world, please look us up.